Hi guys, I hope you're having a good day today. I just want to make a quick video about one of the experiences I've had with an earth angel slash angel. I've had many experiences of this, but this I just want to touch upon one because the list just goes on. And this experience I've had happened last year in August 2020. And it was just a regular day. It was beautiful outside. I decided to go down to the city just to explore, have some of my favorite food, just experience life independently. And I spent the day, had a good time, and now it's about evening time and it was close to being dark. And I decided to go back home because before it gets dark, because the train ride is like an hour back home. So I was like, okay, it's time to get back home. So I'm on the train on my way home, and all of a sudden there's this urge for me to just get off the train. I at first was like, it's probably the urge just to explore a bit more. I feel like I deserve it, but I guess it was something else. So there was something inside me that's telling me to get off the train. So I got off the train. I'm still far away from my house, but I got off the train and my phone was dead. So there's an outlet where I got off. And there's a bench too. So I decided to charge my phone and sit there and wait until it turns on again. As I'm sitting, I'm just chilling, just observing. I see someone on like the ledge, and it was like the edge of the thing. It looked like he was about to jump onto the train tracks, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm just overreacting. Maybe there's nothing. But then I started hearing him say, like, I don't want to live anymore. He just starts talking to himself. He's like, I wish I wasn't human. I wish I was like a turtle or something. Like, I still took it seriously. I was like, okay, this guy is probably going through something. And he was homeless. Like, it looked like he was homeless because his clothes were all torn up. He was wearing sandals. And I don't know, it was just, you could see it. So I went up to him. I was like, come here, like, let's have a conversation. I brought him to the bench safely before anything had happened. Like, I was scared that he was gonna jump. The police officers even ended up coming. They're like, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, me and my friend are okay, no worries. So they left. And I was like, what's wrong? Um, Actually, before I said what's wrong, the other train came. I was like, let's get on this train, let's just have a conversation, see where it takes us. So we were on the train, and he just starts explaining to me how much in pain he is physically because he there's something wrong with his digestive system. Doctors don't even know what it is. He's been to the hospital multiple times and doctors just shoo him away. That's what he told me. He's had an x-ray, but they said like there's literally nothing going on. There's no issues. Like, no one has really helped him. He wouldn't eat properly because it was too hard for him to eat, and he had no energy to do anything, and that caused him like emotional pain. He's like, that's why I don't want to be here, because I'm in so much physical pain. um but then I started asking him about like his childhood, just to try to get to know him, all that kind of stuff. He starts telling me how he used to be like a hip-hop dancer. Like, he was out there as a kid, like around my age, but because he was depressed, he would harm himself, and he would feed himself like junk food, and that caused like major problems, I guess, with his digestive system. That's why when he digests things, he gets that excruciating pain. So we went deep, and I was like, okay, do you want me to take you to, like, I could rent you out a place, like, what do you want me to do? He was like, I don't want anything. He just gave up on life. He was giving up. I was like, no, we're not gonna give up. Have faith. God is with you. Have faith. I kept telling him that. And I was like, you are protected. You are protected. I even gave him, like, I had an evil eye bracelet. I gave it to him. I was like, this will protect you. I just was trying to do as much as I can to make him feel better. And I haven't worn that evil eye bracelet in so long, but something told me to wear it that day. I don't know why. So then we got off that train, and I was like, you know what, let me take you to the hospital. Let's at least try. He's like, oh, I've been to every hospital. No one actually takes me in. So I found a hospital he's never been to, and we decided to train there. And the train took about 30 minutes to get there, and then the walk was about 15 minutes. And by the time we walked there, like when we arrived to the hospital, by the time we got there, all we see is a construction. It looked shady as frick. Like, it didn't look proper. And then there's a security guard. He was like, yeah, this hospital's actually closed because of COVID and construction. I was like, damn, like, we'd spent all this time and it's dark now. Like, it's like, what am I supposed to do? I can't just leave him here. I can't just run away. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then the security guard points us, like, he was Middle Eastern and he knew I was Middle Eastern. And he was like worried. He was like, is this guy like bothering you? Like, what is he doing? Because this guy was dressed so differently than I was, and he was clearly homeless, and I'm just here trying to help him. Like, I wasn't even looking at what he was wearing or anything like that. But the security guard was looking at me weirdly. He was like, why are you here with him? And then, anyways, he points me to like a police officer, or like someone that's part of like, what is it called, the RCMP or something like that. I don't know. But he was on break, but I was like, he was off duty. So I went there. I was like, please just help me, my friend out. Like, I don't know what to do. We came to the hospital, but the hospital's closed, yada yada yada. And then he looked at my, I'm just gonna call him my friend. He looked at my friend, the homeless guy, like weirdly. He's like, why are you here with him? Like, what made you guys come together? Because we're dressed so differently, and I don't know. He was giving me a weird attitude. I didn't like the attitude he was giving, but he still helped, thank God. He ended up calling like the ambulance. The ambulance came and they took him, and they took his blood pressure. Apparently his blood pressure was proper and everything like that. And then we started talking to the ambulance people. We were like this guy needs help. He's been in so much pain. But my friend, he didn't want any help. He was like, no, you guys don't even care about me. Like, he was such a miserable state. But I really wanted to get him help. Like, you can't just leave him there. I was like, no, please, his name was Michael, by the way. I was like, please, Michael, please just go for me, do something for me. And I ended up like convincing him to go with the ambulance workers and go to the hospital and see what happens. And I was like, I'm gonna call the hospital, I'm gonna put my phone number down just to make sure you're okay, yada yada yada. So they took him. I'm off, it's dark, I'm off. I go to the train, and I'm going home now. So I made it to the bus stop and I'm waiting for my now. So I took the train, I made it to the bus stop, and now I'm waiting for my mom to come pick me up. While I'm waiting, I call the hospital and I make sure, I'm like, is Michael there? Is Michael okay? And they're like, yeah, he's in the waiting room or something like that. And I was like, can you please put my number in if anything happens, if there's any changes? And they're like, yeah. So they took my number and my name and everything like that. And that was like an hour or so after the ambulance took him. So then I'm like, okay, please God, like, please, I hope everything's okay. I started praying for him. And then the next morning, I called the hospital again. And I was like, hey, is this, because I got his last name as well, is this person here? Is Michael blank here? And they said, what? Like, we don't know that name. It's like not in the system. And I called like 3 times. I was like, are you sure? And I even put my phone number in there, like, to get a call or something like that. And they were like, yeah, no, like, he's not here. And I was like, that is so strange. He just vanished? Like, what does that mean? And then I started thinking, I was like, no, like, that's so weird. And then I started thinking more. So the day I met Michael, which was the day before, that morning, as I was exploring before I met Michael, there was like those neighborhood book things where you get free books, but instead of a book, it was records. And both the records, without me actually knowing, both had the name Michael in it. And that whole month plus more, I've been seeing the name Michael along with David, and that's in my other video. But Michael, I've been seeing Michael everywhere. Also, during this time, I was going through a lot of depression. Like, I was going through a lot of depression. Like, it wasn't good. And in a way, I could relate to the story that Michael was telling me. He was like, because I do photography, I make music, stuff like that, but I'm here not really taking care of myself like Michael was. He had dance and he would do hip hop, but he was here not really pursuing it because of his depression. And then it led to that pain, that suffering that he experienced. And I was like, whoa, like that's so weird. And the fact that he disappeared, like right now it sounds so simple. It's like, okay, he probably just, like the fact that he doesn't exist, I never got to see him ever again. And I've been seeing the name Michael everywhere, and the 2 records that I bought were named Michael, and that guy was named Michael. And then on the way to the hospital, we saw like a cat, just a white cat in the middle of nowhere, just staring at us. And then we go by, and I don't even know, like that 1000% for me, because it was a personal experience, was an angel. It had to have been an angel. I told, like, that morning after I called and talked to the hospital, and I was like, what, how doesn't he exist, his name is not in there. I told my dad, I started telling my dad, and I started sobbing because I don't know why it hit me so hard. I was like all I wanted to do was help this guy, and now he's like disappeared. But then I started thinking more about it, and I was like, what does this all mean? And then I realized, like, he could have been an earth angel or even Archangel Michael in human form. Because think about it, like, angels come in the least expected ways. They don't come wearing a business suit, like looking fabulous. They come in the most broken states of being on physical earth. And this man was broken inside and out, and you could tell it in his face. And it's so crazy that, like, me saying this is probably not as crazy as I see it as, but because, like I said, because like it connects so much to me and how I was feeling at that moment of my life, and the fact that I was seeing his name everywhere. And not just that, the fact that I picked up 2 free records that day with the name Michael without me even knowing, like, they're both made by Michael, and these songs were amazing, by the way. And then meeting that Michael, and then why did I get off at that stop in the first place? I was trying to get home. What made me stop? Why was I told to stop? Intuitively, I was told to stop, get off that stop, and just, I don't know. And why was my phone dead at that perfect time? Like, if I got off that stop, I could have went up and explored the place. I wouldn't have stayed there. But because my phone was dead and I found an outlet in the perfect spot, I stayed there. Like, did you see how everything was working, like, perfectly and planned? Like, again, maybe it sounds so silly to other people, but that was an angel. The fact that he doesn't exist anymore, it was an angel. Like, and I was told, like, don't give up on this person, help him. I don't know if it was an angel working through him or if it was an angel in physical form or something like that, but I don't know. That was the craziest experience of my entire life. Like, one of the craziest, like, interactions, I guess, with, like, a stranger, especially, like, being a homeless person. It was just really, really, I don't know. Like, you gotta experience these things to actually understand the miracles that were presented in front of you. Because I didn't think of it as anything until he disappeared, and until, like, I started thinking more about all the things that added up. It's like, what? I don't know. Well, that was one of my experiences. I had many more. That wasn't, I don't think, as interesting, but as the most, like, emotional one I've experienced, because it has to do with me trying to save someone. But at the end, it was me trying to save myself. That was the main idea of that interaction, of that experience. I had to save myself. I had to realize that hurting myself and harming myself in ways that hurting myself and harming myself in ways that, I think is okay, will not get me anywhere. And I have the ability right now to create whatever I want. So why do that and experience the ache and the suffering for the rest of my life? That's the hell I'll put myself through. So that experience just showed me, like, you are meant and destined for so many great things. You're destined to love people. You're destined to succeed in what you have today. Conquer the day. Harming yourself and just destroying yourself because of a certain thought or a certain emotion you're feeling temporarily will not get you anywhere other than digging yourself a hole and just burying yourself alive. That's what it's doing. And that's what that experience really showed me. As the days progressed, like, I kept thinking about it. I wouldn't stop thinking about it. But yeah, I hope that was short and sweet. I hope that even made sense. I hope I wasn't like being boring, and I hope I'm a good storyteller, because I think I babble a lot, and sometimes when I babble it doesn't make sense, or like I'm just mumbling. So yeah. Also, it's Michael Franks, one of the greatest artists of all time. I really recommend him. The Art of Tea is one album, and the other one is Sleeping Gypsy. So check those out and continue to love one another and continue experiencing and keeping your eye out for all these miraculous experiences. Another experience is, you could watch it in the videos below, is I saw a dove one day, and it was like after experiencing something really rough and traumatic, and a couple of days later all I see is my whole backyard is covered with white feathers, just white feathers. And that dove that I saw had a bell that would ring. But then a couple days later I saw those pure white feathers. It wasn't like seagull feathers, it was pure white feathers just in my backyard. And that's the first time that's ever happened of my like 15 years of being here or so. Yeah, crazy experiences. Yeah, you could watch those videos down below. That's it. That's 2 experiences in one video. I hope you enjoy that. God bless. Take care. Peace.